Throughout my career, I've been involved with a lot of companies that are trying to move from a services orientation to a product orientation. And it turns out it's a very difficult transition, but I wanted to break that down from a product management perspective because it really underscores some fundamentals that I think are really important to product managers. So in terms of definition, a product is a good that you manufacture. It can be virtual, but you manufacture it for a market. Not just one customer, not two customers, for a market. And I'll go into a little more detail on that. Services you can think of as work that you do on behalf of a client. So in the IT world, common services are like consulting or training. So you're not delivering something to the client that they can do their own work with. You are doing the work for them. And it turns out that these are really different kinds of offerings. Just because you're great at building products does not mean that you could build a great consulting offering. And somebody who has spent their career building great courses and rolling those out internationally cannot necessarily build a great product. Similar in some ways, but different skill sets. So let's talk about how these things are different. And as I said, I'll try to underscore the key differences for a product manager. The first difference between a service and a product is who they serve. So when I'm delivering services, I have a customer, I understand their needs, and I try to deliver what they want, and that can be super hard. But with a product, what I've got to do is I have to think about a market. I don't know specifically who's going to use my product before I build it. I have to generalize it so that enough entities in the market will buy it to make a successful business. And that is infinitely harder. I can't just go talk to the market. I have to talk to proxies for the market, people who understand the market, prospects, those kinds of things. So big difference. In a services business, I know who my customer is. I have to understand what they need and I deliver it. In a product business, we have to understand a market. We can't do everything, so we have to generalize what we do to a certain extent to meet the needs of a bunch of different organizations. And that's why a lot of products fail. Probably more than projects delivered by services companies. The next big difference is pricing. This is really important. Most services companies know how much it will cost them to deliver the service, the people they're going to use, how many hours they will work, those kinds of things. And they basically mark that up 20, 30, 100%, whatever it is. It's cost-based pricing. On the product side, that's the last thing I want to do. My whole goal is to build it once, sell it 1,000,000 times. And I need to understand the value that I am delivering. And my price should be based on the value. Doesn't matter if it just took me 2 days to develop it. If it's super valuable, I should be recapturing some of that value that I'm creating. So another really fundamental difference is the way I price these things. These are really different mindsets. And if I've spent my career doing cost-based pricing, value-based pricing is a really odd thing. It is a difficult thing to grasp. And finally, really big difference is the team that I need to deliver these things. If I take like an IT services company that's building software for their clients, maybe integrating systems or doing some kind of custom inventory management, piece of software. I have a bunch of engineers, I may have an architect, I may have an account manager. I don't have a product manager. I guess that's the upshot. What we learned is that if you want to meet the needs of a market, you have to have somebody that's really thinking throughout the life cycle about the market. And that's what a product manager does. So if you think about an organization that today delivers bespoke software for its clients and now it wants to build a product, they're going to have to stand up some type of product management organization sooner or later. And that is extremely hard. Most leaders in these organizations don't really understand product or product management. So how are they going to hire the right people? It's really tough. And then the rest of the organization has to be educated about what this role is. I've seen it go south more times than I can describe. It's really tough. So the upshot here is that products and services are different things. The skills I need to define them and manage them have some similarities. I may need to understand the market. I may need to do these things, but they're really different business models. Those things that I mentioned, the pricing, who I serve, the team that I need, imply different business models. So you should not take lightly this idea of moving from a services orientation to a product orientation. It is extremely hard. There are a lot of things that you need to do to help improve your chances of success. And I think when we think about services versus product, there are a lot of really fundamental concepts and ideas that we can internalize that help us understand product management better. Hope this was helpful.